Welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. With your host, Craig Casamas and Big J Curran.
You get sound?
It's so nice with that light ring right there.
Can you hear yourself, Danny?
I can. You guys are definitely louder than I am.
Okay,
That's
so let me
okay.
turn.
Yeah.
I don't
let me
like to
turn
hear
it.
myself anyways.
Okay. Let me test your mic real quick.
Hey.
Talk.
Hey, how's it going? How you doing? out
Okay,
there?
so you're 3. All right.
Rocking and rolling.
Jay, talk a little bit.
Hey, no. I can't hear me.
I can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Weird. Usually everybody can hear me.
There you go.
Yeah,
Now
there
you're
it
back,
is.
baby. Now you're back, baby.
All right.
All right.
It's kind of nice with this light ring here.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
We got it, Kenny?
Yeah.
Are we rolling, dude?
We rolling?
This is official, huh?
Hey, man, this
Hey.
light ring, you can't see Kenny for shit. Do you know how much nicer that is? You can still smell the funk. You
Yeah,
get that
well.
Wyneme junk going on over
There
there.
it is, dude. Anyway, welcome to Get Heavy Podcast. Danny Walker,
Danny.
thanks for coming in live, man. I appreciate
Welcome,
you.
man.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Great, man.
Doing well.
Feel free to adjust that mic however you need to. Get it,
How's
where you-
this?
It's good, yeah.
Oh,
Not
yes.
a fist
very,
from
very
your face, I
attractive
think is
from this
the
angle.
general rule. But, dude, we did one before during COVID. It was fun to talk to you, but totally way better live. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's nice to have
absolutely.
you here. Sorry for all the delays, but it is what it is.
It's okay. Like I said, I got nothing going on today.
I know, right?
We're just hanging out.
You got new jobs, new bands, new music, fucking all kinds of shit.
Yeah, keeping busy.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
What, so, help me pronounce this. Avitus?
Avitus.
Avitus.
Yeah.
Avitus. Okay.
Avitus?
Avitus. I'm
Okay.
a fucking moron, and I'm like,
It's okay.
Avitus.
Yeah.
Avitus, Avitus.
Avitus.
I like Avitus better. Avitus
Okay.
sounds like Adidas.
Do you know what it means?
It's a Latin man's name.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Cool. Well, it's
And I guess
fucking...
it translates to the old world.
Oh, okay. The old world.
So who came up with the name?
Guitarist and vocalist Avi Tomer,
Okay.
who is from Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And I started talking to this guy over the years, especially after the departure with Intronaut. He was interested in, writing some music over the internet.
And he does he do everything else, and you're just playing the drums? Is there other musicians on it?
Well, we have other musicians join us on each release. The first one, we had a couple members of a band called Black Crown Initiate.
Oh,
a
okay.
death metal band.
Yeah.
So their vocalist and bass player
Okay.
subbed in on that.
Awesome.
So that was an EP called Machina.
Okay.
And then we have another EP called Pattern Recognition.
That's the one that just
which
came out.
Came out in January of this year.
Right,
So,
yeah. Yeah, and it's wild, dude. I was
Cool.
listening, I was jamming it the last couple of days.
Awesome.
It has obviously elements of you know what I mean, all over the place, but the music itself is, it's fucking sporadic, and then it's pretty, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's a lot of cool shit in there, man.
It's got all the elements. It's essentially a progressive metal band, but it's got some post-metal elements as well. And I'm still continuing to write with him. He's, at the moment sending me, tracks,
Yeah.
guitar ideas.
Any plans to play or do any of that shit? Not right now?
Not right now. I mean, it's literally just a project, not necessarily a band. I mean, because it's just he and I.
Right.
There's no solid lineup.
Yeah.
So-
How do you feel? Because you spent many, many years in bands touring, right? And the path is write album, record album, play album live
Repeat.
for a year, or whatever, a year and a half, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat, right? But now it's like, do you think COVID has changed it? Or do you think people are like, you can just do all these fucking projects now, dude. And it's like,
Well, just, with technology in general, but I think, the pandemic had something to do with that because, we really just had no choice
But so,
at that point.
because I listened to a lot of other like podcasts and stuff, and one of the things I've gotten from a lot of the musicians that I am into, that there are like, hey man, now it's really cool because I can play this drums and do this, and then I just send it to them, and now it's just all the COVID stuff just enhanced it so that everybody is like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Everyone
Yeah,
figured
because
out how
like
to do
yeah,
it,
like
right? Yeah.
like I'm a hip hop head, so it's like Dre is like, okay, let me send this beat to this person out here in Detroit or wherever, and then let them listen to it, and then they can send it back to me. You know what I mean? So whether it's I can play this guitar riff, and then I can send it to Danny, and Danny's gonna go, okay, let me see what I can lay in there, and then you guys can put it all together. But it's been a thing. But I think COVID has just really made it to where you're like, oh, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you could literally start a band with people in different parts of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the majority of the people that I've worked with since then, I've never even played in a room with them.
Dude, it's
See, it's
so
so
weird,
nuts.
man.
That is so
weird,
nuts.
you know?
Yeah.
So weird. Yeah. I mean, how do you? Does it change things for you?
It has to.
I mean, it definitely lacks cohesiveness, you
Right.
know?
Right.
There's a certain beauty about being in a room
Oh.
with a band and just
Yeah.
vibing off of each other, and you know. And then when you're, you know, going through email, you know, you're taking notes, and you know, the 1 second the 1 minute and 20-second mark. This part I was thinking, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
You know, it's super
The process
tedious.
is longer.
It's
right?
Yeah.
you know, opposed to just having a conversation up front in a room.
Right.
and
getting it
you
done
get
quicker.
that connection. You know, one of the
Exactly.
coolest experiences that I'll always hold in my life was there's a musician in town named Jonathan Raffetto, and he had a band called the Jonathan Raffetto Band, and it was a bunch of local guys, and it was kind of hippie-ish type stuff. But me and a buddy of mine went over there to watch him practice, and they're all high-level, amazing musicians, and to watch the drummer and the bass player talking back and forth and joking with each other while the guitar player and the vocalist are going back and forth, and like everybody's, you know, the whole vibe. It was great. I sat there for like 3-4 hours just not really even talking. Well, I was high as fuck. I smoked a lot of weed, so I was super fucking stoned. But
it's gonna
just to
happen.
watch the energy between the different people switch back and forth, and like everybody's like, so start talking to the bass player about what do you think about this line. Like you said, to do it in person is just such a more personal energy, you know, and that will reflect in the albums, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're talking about doing the music, it's so technical that everything you do is, whether it's Ozorn, which was relatively mellow music wise for you. I mean, I know you play with who's a blues guy, John.
Blind John Pope.
Yeah, but that shit's still complicated, right? But Ozorn
you know,
was so like mellow
It
for
just,
it, but you
it
made
just
it
has
so
such a
technical.
emotional vibe to it,
Yeah,
and you know, certainly
Yeah.
heavy music, and you know, I'm very much familiar with that and enjoy that as well. You know,
Right.
it doesn't always need to be technical.
Yeah. Is the John Pope shit, is that like a weirder thing for you to step outside of and do?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think the first time I ever had to like step it down, tone it down, was when I filled in drumming for Jesu
Yeah.
on the ISIS
Yeah,
tour,
that's
and
right,
that was
yeah.
actually my first time playing to a click track live.
You don't
So
play
I could
to a
actually,
click live?
I did with Intronaut
Yeah,
in the later part of our career, but
Yeah.
I had never done that live before.
Wow.
But I had to with them because there was a lot of
So slow.
backtracking.
Yeah.
There were extra layers of guitars, there were keys and samples that had to be aligned.
Right.
So I could really feel, you know, the push and pull where I wanted to like rush, and I'm like fighting
Right.
this click track, but you have to like,
Wow.
Yeah.
you know.
Because there's always been an argument that
really
the
cool.
drummer for AC/DC is the best drummer on earth. Because it's straight tempo, all the fucking. You know what I mean?
Solid
It's
as
like
rock.
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird though, because as a live band, you naturally want to speed up in parts, and you naturally play slower depending on how you get like this group mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes Wrath would play shows and it would be fucking 100 miles an hour, but that's what it needed. You know, the crowd was a punk crowd; they wanted to pit.
Right.
And then sometimes you'd play that shit and it's like slower than
The
fuck,
live
you know?
vibe
It's like,
is totally different
so
than studio.
weird.
I mean, there's adrenaline.
Right.
I mean, everybody plays faster live, just
Right.
automatically. And to you, it feels like you're playing the tempo of the record. Until,
Right, yeah.
You know, you see a YouTube video of yourself or you know, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
For me, what it was is I went back a few years later and after the Wrath broke up, and I listened to some of the songs and I went, I couldn't fucking play that fast to save my own life right now. You know what I mean? I just was shocked at how fast we recorded. You know what I mean? And you're all motherfucker. That would have been nice to not fucking do that to myself, because now you're like, "Ugh," and then that's the bar. You know what I mean? You're just fucking dying. You know, but.
Yeah, and you know, another thing I learned doing that Jesu gig was not only to just, you know, pace yourself and be locked in with that click, but just to be simplistic. I mean, basically to drum for that band, you're emulating a drum machine.
Right.
And it's very simple, you know.
How was he
You're
to
not
work
going to be
with?
filling it up and going crazy. You're just
Right.
simple in
Right.
the pocket.
How was he to work with? So Jesu
Awesome.
is, just for Jay, if people
Yeah.
don't know, Jesu, Justin Broderick, is in a million fucking bands. Jesu is the latest iteration.
Yeah, he was in the early stages of Napalm Death. He played guitar in that,
Yeah.
and then he was in Godflesh.
Godflesh was a big band back in the day.
Just real quick so you understand. I don't know any of this shit.
Yeah.
And the way, like, I
completely
listen
foreign.
to you, same thing. I
Yeah,
listen to you all week long because he says, hey, this is who's coming on. And then he sends me, these are the bands that he's played in.
Right.
And then once that happens, I start listening. And then I've been listening to you all week long. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
wow, no, man, what was cool for me is listening to the different bands. And I'm not sure who the first one I was listening to that he sent me, but I was listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is just Rush on Speed. Like, but it was because of your drumming was forefront to the whole sound was your drumming. And then everything else was kind of back up to that. And it really stood out, man. It was insane.
Yeah.
And I all my vehicles have stupid stereo systems in them. I mean, I think my truck's stereo is like $7,000. So
Jesus.
when I'm cruising down the road and I've got it turned really, really up, man, you hear everything, man. And it was so beautiful to just hear you hammering in it, you know, and just
Right on.
I mean, like hear you hitting these different cymbals and the everything was just out of bounds, man. It was awesome.
Rush was definitely influenced growing up. I mean, you know, my father had those records in the household. I mean, there's a lot of classic rock,
Is that
but
an old man shot
some,
right there?
but
That's
some
like
prog
a-
stuff, you know.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah, you know, he had some Rush and Yes records, Little King
love
Crimson.
Yeah.
But also, you know, Led Zeppelin and The Who and Black Sabbath.
I mean,
know.
nobody's ever going to say that Bono's not the greatest.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was
definitely
fucking
a goat
animal,
for sure.
man. You know,
Yeah.
but Neil Peart's also. You could really, I don't know which song or which couple of songs or which album. I wish I could remember, but I was driving, but I could just hear the Neil Peart. Like you could just, but it was because you're doing this stuff that not a lot of people can really do and bring out and be able to do it all the time. I mean, you were just pop, 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 and just, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
welcome
And
welcome to being friends with Danny Walker.
Yeah,
Every time you see him
yeah.
play, you're like,
Yeah. As soon as I got,
Well,
as
even
soon as I
with-
got to the bar, because I was listening to the truck on the way to the bar.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to the bar, I called him. Was like, man, what the fuck?
yeah,
This is crazy, man.
you know,
it's
as
amazing.
much as I like playing technical music, I don't necessarily listen to a lot of technical music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, listening to stuff like Jesu or Pink Floyd or Mogwai
Right,
or you
Mellow.
know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I find that as I get older, you know, like we grew up in the same fucking world, right? It was
Yeah.
fucking grind or die all day. You know, I mean, you know, it was we were a bunch of fucking nightmares.
Punk and hardcore.
Punk, hardcore, metal.
Yep,
You
yeah.
know, all that, as extreme as you could possibly get. And as I get older, I found that I drew more influence from mellower shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I got super into Godspeed, You Black Emperor years ago.
Yeah.
That band changed my life. Fucking Neurosis, obviously, which we're going to be talking about here pretty soon. Shit like that is like what I found later as I was still playing like gnarly fucking music. I found way more influence from the mellower shit or stuff that was different outside my box. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think you have to, otherwise you will be stuck in that tragedy fucking loop. You know what I mean? Like forever, which is, there's nothing wrong with it if you're tragedy or His Hero's Gone, but it's is that where you want to live forever? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
That's a trip, man. I know you went on tour with Jesu. How was working with Justin Broderick? Was it, because he's a legendary figure in our fucking world.
Super
I mean,
legendary, man.
yeah.
I mean, you know, that was kind of like a fanboy
For
moment
sure,
for me,
right?
and I had to like be subdued and just be like, oh my God. Because that was just a total accident, and I've talked to people about this before, but I landed that gig because I was at, I think it was early 2007. It was the El Rey in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a Neurosis concert,
Right.
and it was Red Sparrows and Grails.
Right, yeah.
And I happened to be backstage hanging out with Matt Jacobson, the co-founder of Relapse Records, and I had worked with a lot of bands at the time on that label. And it was Mark Thompson from Hydra, who, mind you, was wasted out of his mind backstage. He was hammered. It's like, hey, Danny, you want to play drums for Jesu? Got this tour booked with ISIS and Torche, and they need a drummer. Ted Parsons is having some health issues, and he can't do it. What do you say? And I'm like thinking, dude, this guy isn't even going to remember our conversation the next day. No way in hell. So we exchanged contact. I give him my email, and literally 10 a.m. the next morning, he puts me in contact with Justin. I'm already getting a set list, the details on the tour. But the problem is that Jesu had trouble getting their work visas.
Oh.
So Intronaut ended up filling in the dates for the first half of the tour, basically waiting for Jesu to make it over.
Really?
We thought it would be maybe the first couple of shows.
Yeah.
San Diego and Arizona, boom, and then they make it over. We ended up going as far as Philly.
No way.
That's how many
You did
shows
half
we
the
ended up.
fucking
So
tour
we
with
did
them,
half the tour.
Finally,
like on a whim, essentially.
Yeah,
right?
finally, the guys with Jesu make it over in New York. So this is at the Irving Plaza. It's a sold-out show. My first time ever playing in a room with these guys. I just studied this shit on my headphones when I used to work at Borders Books.
Right,
doing inventory.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And I would just rehearse it in my head. So I think we discussed the set backstage, and then, boom, curtains are drawn, sold-out show. I'm playing with my hero in front of me, and I got to nail it.
Yeah.
And that was that.
That was the first. Did
That
you
was
get a
the-
practice in?
Holy
Nothing first show.
shit,
No.
dude. That's
I'd fucking
crazy.
die. I think I'd die, dude.
And,
I would die.
Steve from Torche is side stage, and he's all giddy. It's like, you're going to kill it, dude. It's going to be fine.
But secretly thinking,
Wow.
like, I'm going to love it when he fucking tanks this thing, dude.
Right. Which is crazy because it's so simple. It's so
I know.
slow, but playing to a click, and some of those parts drag on for so long.
Yeah. They go about
it's easy to
20
just kind
more-
of forget how many measures I've gone through already. Like,
This is 32. Fuck, there's 15,
Yeah.
16 more. What the fuck,
but anyways, yeah.
So and the tour ended up fine. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said,
That was
he
great.
seems like he couldn't be anything besides a mellow dude. You know
Super,
what I mean? Like,
total stoner,
Yeah.
but like so hyper when he speaks.
Oh,
just
really?
His music is so depressing,
it is.
but you hang out with him and he's just so jolly.
Yeah.
He gets it all out in the music.
Yeah,
super
that
hyper.
therapy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, bro. Yeah, it's a
So,
trip, man.
do you think that doing that, like, and having to like slow it down and control it, and come at it at a different angle, like, helps you later, like, to see things differently and to maybe up your game? You know what I mean?
I think
because
so.
all of a
I
sudden
think-
you're stepping out of your box.
Yeah, I think it definitely had its benefits for sure to just kind of subdue yourself, play the parts, and serve the music,
Right.
Yeah.
and not be, jerking off all over the place on your
Right.
drums and
Yeah.
being the star. It's like, no,
Yeah.
music first,
Yeah.
just hold down the beat and the tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what,
yeah.
like, James Brown, when somebody would step out of the tempo, he'd turn around and point at him and go, hey,
Yeah.
$50.
Oh, you charge him? 50
Oh,
bucks?
yeah.
Oh,
You
fuck.
can hear in some of his live recordings, and he'll turn around and he'll say, he'll point to somebody and be like, and they just got charged $50. Yeah, because they
fucked up the
they
pa-
went
the
bop
the
bop
pace.
bop instead of bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
And then that's
Is there
that's
anything
it.
anything more gangster than that?
Yeah.
No.
Well, we've
he
talked about
was,
it. Like,
yeah,
we've talked about those Buddy Rich fucking tapes. Have you heard those? The Buddy Rich fucking tapes of him screaming at people on the
screaming
bus.
at people and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we played one on here once, but have you ever heard those actual fucking recordings? They're on YouTube.
I've seen some stuff.
It's insane,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, he fucking because I think his son lives in. His son's from here, or his grandson, or something.
Oh, really?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I've dealt with him at DW when I worked there. And it was a nightmare. I'll tell you that much. I don't know him that well, but
I
was like, "You-"
I think all of us at some point in time,
you know.
I mean, I'm a little older than you guys. So I remember being a little kid watching Buddy Rich,
Yeah.
like watching him on the Muppets, and then going, "What the fuck is this?" And
Yeah.
then after that, we didn't have YouTube or nothing, so you just hope you can find him somewhere.
Yeah.
And then anytime you could see that he was going to play, you're like, "Holy shit, I want to watch this," you know,
Yeah.
because he was so just out of bounds, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He was nuts, man. I mean, who do you? I mean, I know it's easy to jump at the fucking big ones, but who like what drummer do you watch every time and you go, "Fuck, dude." Like,
how
just
hard
in
is that
general.
nowadays?
Wow, I mean,
You know.
You know, still to this day, Thomas Hake from Meshuggah is just a
insane.
machine and
It's
just
insane.
a groove monster.
yeah, that's insane.
You know, and I've had the opportunity to tour alongside those guys, and
Oh, really?
I would watch him every single night. You got Matt Garska from Animals as Leaders,
Right.
who's on the top of his game, who
Yeah.
just recently started endorsing DW.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That's good. That's a good move for them. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
How do you spell Meshuggah?
Good luck.
Just type in more sugar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and yeah, Meshuggah. I got on a big Meshuggah kick
Oh,
like
Jesus
in the last
criminy.
few months, dude. I mean, I listened to him, but I never fucking listened to him like a lot. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's some of those riffs I don't think I could play to save my children's lives, dude. You know what I mean? Like guitar wise, it's unfucking real. And then you find out like one of those albums that dude recorded all of his drums just like digitally, like programmed them or something, right? Is that true? I don't know.
Yeah.
He just like programmed them all and was like, here, we're good. You know, and just sends them out. You're like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
man? It's
No,
insane.
but you know, it's so groovy, so insanely technical, but so dark and hypnotic at the
Yeah.
same time. You just kind of get lost in it.
yeah.
And I just could never stop listening to those guys.
Yeah.
You know, every album is good, you know.
Every
the-
fucking album.
So, you know,
And they never disappoint you, dude. Like ever. It's insane. Every album I've listened to, I'm like, fucking Meshuggah, dude. That's it. You know?
and you know, talk about like an extension, you know, of Neil Peart. I mean, Bron Daler and Mastodon.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course, yeah.
Yeah.
A band that I've toured with a couple times, and again, just
Fucking love
having the opportunity to sit side stage and just watch these guys do their thing every single night. It's just
Yeah.
fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
a total inspiration.
I'm a giant Clutch fan, and
Clutch is great.
I
Mastodon toured with them a lot.
I that's how I got into Mastodon, was going to watch Clutch, and Clutch, like I kind of thought that certain genre of metal was kind of gone, you know, and
Like more rock oriented.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the first time when I first, and the only time I ever heard the Wrath, I was like, holy shit, man, this is what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and then later on I got into Clutch and found Clutch. And then when I got into Clutch, then I started finding like Orange Goblin and Mastodon and all these different offsprings of that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, it's all still here.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you just got to find it, you know,
Yeah.
which I think is a basis for all music. You know, it's all still there. It's just you don't have three bands at the top and that's all anybody hears.
Right.
It's just all you just have to look.
Then you know you got bands like, you know, Red Fang and Torche.
Red Fang's so
that
good,
are,
dude.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
heavy,
my God.
so heavy and downtuned, but so poppy at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So like melodic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You really get into it and you're happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Mutoid Man, you know. Yeah, they're
Mutoid
another-
Band's very good, dude.
Have you listened to the new Caven record?
I have, yeah.
I've been listening
Yeah.
to that a
Have
lot.
ya?
I was actually listening to that on my.
Were you? Yeah. That have you heard? There's like so the new Cave In. I've been jamming a little bit. It's not. I have a hard relationship with Stephen Brodsky. There was a point at which his voice just went fucking weird on me, and it never seems to fit in with the music. I honestly think this last one is the most cohesive. Like with I don't know, maybe it's just my bias from Until Your Heart Stops, the old records. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was.
But
that-
I really did like all the other shit too. God, what was it when they fucking kind of changed their style after that? I can't remember the record now, but the last one I do like it a lot. But there was also a new Botch song they just released too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that shit.
I did. Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like everything from my late teens, early 20s, they're like all those bands are like, yeah, let's fucking throw another one out there. You know? And it's all been pretty good, man. You know,
it's like all that like artsy hydra head era of hardcore. You know, the Converge, Coalesce, Cave and Botch, all that stuff. I mean, that was the shit that really inspired to start Uphill Battle.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
But just with blast beats.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Converge has always been handling it, dude. I mean, just from day fucking one, which I don't know that you'd like Converge from. It's pure chaos, like the whole time, you know. I showed my daughter the Locust the other day, and she was like, "I like this," and I'm all, "Yeah, it's insane."
Dig the outfits.
Yeah, it's the Locust is an insane fucking band, but yeah, it's just so weird how a lot of those, you know, our legacy bands are fucking coming. They're coming back, dude. You know, they're hitting that 20, 30 years. You know, what is it? I guess it's 20 years now, essentially.
Mine are all dying.
So yeah, your guys.
Mine are all dying.
You're losing all your people.
Already past rehab.
Yeah.
You know, they went to rehab 10 years ago.
For sure.
Now they're all just fucking dying of liver cancer.
Yeah. Hey, Kenny, is that my phone right there? Hand me that bad boy. Is that mine? Cool.
It's gonna make a call.
No.
My first time seeing the Locust was with Jenny Piccolo, Assuck, and Phobia at the PCH Club in Wilmington in Los Angeles. That ghetto.
I have a
DIY
VHS
spot.
of that show.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I literally recorded it, dude.
Yeah.
Which the Locust was a band that was nuts, but eventually what they did is like they would dress as bugs, and the music was fucking chaotic. The drummer died recently, man. Which that drummer,
I was in high school. I was like,
I mean,
I was like 16 or something.
watching the drummer for the Locust is unfucking real, dude. That guy puts in work. He would throw up every show because he was like, it was fucking chaos, you know. But
plus that spot had no
PCH
ventilation.
was nuts, dude. Yeah,
You know,
PCH
Dystopia would play there all the time. I remember one time Dystopia played. Someone broke the toilet and the place flooded.
No way.
It was just
God.
It was so
okay,
crust.
remind me, where was it?
Wilmington
In Wilmington.
in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess sort of near San Pedro.
Yeah, okay. Because we used to go to there all the time, and I was like young enough to not really pay attention to shit. You know what I mean? I never drove. I always drove with Pat Bailey. You know, shout out to Pat Bailey. Every time I went there, PCH was a hole in the fucking wall, like in an abandoned building, essentially, right? I don't even know. I mean, and it was
in the middle of nowhere, just in an industrial area by the railroad tracks.
300 fucking people would show up to a place that really could fit maybe 100. You know,
Was it all ages?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All ages.
Yeah.
No one gave a fuck.
You'd pay like $3, $5 for a show.
Right.
Yep.
Everyone's drinking 40s in the parking lot. It smells like shit.
Yeah, it was insane, dude.
It was great.
I know. It's like, man, what happened to that shit? You know, but it is still happening. I think. You know, you see those shows with those bands under the bridges in L.A. Have you seen any of that shit? Have you, dude? They're
that was coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah,
yeah.
What was that?
I saw
Straight
some
Hate
videos
or something. What's that band called?
I don't know.
Some crazy hardcore band, but they were doing shows under the bridges in L.A. And there was a point at which, right after the pandemic, 400 or 500 kids are there, and they're fucking, they're shooting. The cops started coming in, and so people are on the bridge and they're shooting fucking fireworks to the cops and shit. Bonfires everywhere. It was chaos, you know. So
See, and they say that fucking LA's dead.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
yeah,
We're still just waiting for a riot.
yeah. Well, Ventura's too mellow, I think, dude.
Yeah. No,
Ventura's
100%.
too mellow.
Yeah, but we can go down there and watch.
Jump in?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I'm not
jump
jumping
in
in
it, dude.
shit.
Yeah.
I'll drive you down there and videotape it.
Please,
Yeah. Yeah.
be good for views.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about this Neurosis shit, dude. It's crazy, right?
It is super crazy. I mean, I'm trying to process this.
Right.
Like I said, last night I couldn't even go to sleep. Just thinking about it, I'm just scrolling on my phone, reading articles, and obviously the first thing I read was his post.
Yeah,
which
Scott
was
Kelly. So for those of
crazy.
you who don't know who Neurosis is, I'll just give it, for people that may listen to this, may not know. Neurosis is, I mean, I'm going to say it's our generation's Pink Floyd. They're very dark, very heavy. They invented the word sludge metal. You know what I mean? Like back in the mid-90s. I mean, they've been around since the fucking 80s. This band, everyone that heard them, it changed their opinion on music. It's if you liked heavy shit, right?
Right. I mean, they paved the way for that term post metal.
Right.
I mean, bands like ISIS and Pelican and what have you. I mean, that's all Neurosis. That's
Yeah,
where that
even, I mean, you
from.
could even say Tool, Melvins,
Uh-huh.
fucking every band ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Neurosis was there since 1985
Oh,
as a bunch
shit.
of punk rockers in Oakland, and there was a point at which their music fucking changed. They went from there's a record called Souls at Zero. Things fucking changed.
Masterpiece.
They went from like a gnarly fast punk band to an experimental, heavy, fucking slow band that used synthesizers and noise and all kinds of shit.
I didn't
right?
know how to identify it.
Right.
To be honest.
Right.
It was just,
100%.
You know, is it metal? Is it?
Yeah, who fucking
I
knows,
guess.
man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane, you know. And so I've been since literally 1997. I saw a video of them playing at what's the fucking Ozfest,
Festival, right? Yeah.
right? They were playing the song called Locust Star off this record called Through Silver and Blood, and it fucking blew my mind. You know what I mean? And from that point on, from 1997, they have been consistently my favorite band of all fucking time. I mean, I got it on my hand. It's on the wall.
I've got a tattoo as
He's
well.
yeah, Danny's,
Oh, shit.
Danny's also a huge fan of this band, right? So
Yeah.
they mean the fucking world to us. dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so crazy to hear this news. So the first post we read is, and we all kind of texted each other at the same time, was the post from Scott Kelly, right? And I actually almost wanted to read it. I don't know if
It's a pretty long post, bro.
I'm gonna read. I'll fucking basically I'll summarize it. But where is it here? Sanford.
So does this mean we have to take the banner down?
No, I don't think so. What do you think, bud?
I think we can keep it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. It's just such a hard one because it's
I mean, it's not like I'm going to burn their records or anything. It's,
right.
you
Yeah.
know,
So
we
here-
just know the
it's-
dude's a dick.
it's, you know, one musician out of four others.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
I mean, and again, we've talked about all this, and I'm sure we'll keep talking about it because it just keeps popping up. But you know, you can't crucify everybody for somebody's actions, and we need to figure out like what made this person be like this, and what can he do to then redeem himself.
Right.
Everything I'm reading, everybody's like, "Fuck that punk." He's a chump, whatever. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what was his fucking dad like?
Oh,
Where did
yeah.
he
you know,
come from?
Supposedly, this had been going on for quite
years,
some time.
Years and years and years.
I didn't know this reading his post, but then I
Right.
kind of followed up and I read,
Two totally different posts, man.
Sanford Parker's
Yeah,
post, who
that-
was in a
yeah.
couple bands
Yeah.
with him.
So here's the synopsis of this is the post that I got fucking yesterday, essentially. Well, 2 days ago, Sunday, from Scott Kelly, the guitar player, one of the main songwriters for Neurosis. Right.
Okay.
For the past several years, I've engaged in emotional, financial, and verbal abuse of my wife and younger children. When I became paranoid that people were going to find out, I always found ways to keep my wife and kids from work and school and created divisions with their friends and family and members. I became obsessed with control, used threats, manipulation, threats of self-harm, suicide, inflicted physical damage on people and their reputations, all to keep that under control. Right? So basically he goes on to say that when it finally came out that it was gonna fucking come out because his wife and them are living in fucking terror, you know, he made moves to fucking basically, I mean, not just keep them away, right? Take their money, fucking all kinds of shit, right? I stalked and harassed my wife day and night, caused her and our youngest to live in constant state of fear. I've lied and told half the truth to so many people, and so much of this I can't keep track of them. I don't want to lie about this anymore. I love my wife to no end. She's the best person that I know. She's intensely honest, loving, good to her core. This letter is a massive simplification of the irreparable damage that I have caused and the unforgivable things I've done to her and our kids, right? So when you read this full post, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I get I mean, initially you're shocked, right? Because I don't know anything about Neurosis. I know Steve Von Till is the other guy is like a total weirdo pagan naturist dude. Like, they're fucking weirdos, you know what I mean? And rightfully so.
I think is a history teacher or something.
He's a teacher, you know. But I don't know them personally. I've never had any interaction with them. I love the music. I know it's from a dark place, dude. Neurosis music is from the darkest fucking places on earth.
I mean,
right?
Bay Area, 80s.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
hardcore
and just
punk,
like
the
dude.
name.
Yeah, Neurosis.
It's not like
yeah.
it's like, hey, it's not Neurosis just in itself.
Right.
Screams dark.
Dark, yeah.
And
Shitty,
their music has helped me get through some pretty
Some
dark times.
shit.
You know, like
yeah, totally. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I really need you to start just like twice a week. Send me new
Send you
shit.
new shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Meshuggah's
when you
gonna
read that
fucking
post,
happen.
my initial thought was like, "Fuck, man, that's kind
Like
of
I wanted to
you know,
commend him for
Almost.
like being
You almost did,
super
right?
honest and kind of owning up to his shit and like, well, you know, I'm gonna do something about this, which I hope he does.
yeah."
But then it's like, well, you know, what are the intentions here? Is this like a PR stunt?
right.
Which a lot of people thought it
Right.
was.
Upon second reading, dude, that's the vibe I got. This is and it confirmed it today when Neurosis actually put out a fucking statement, right? Which I'm gonna read that too, but it felt very fucking manipulative. And it felt very fucking narcissistic because yes, you're admitting all your failures and shit, but in the end saying that you are going to do your best to protect your family. And it's like, dude, you
and
are the
throwing
one.
all the stuff out there
Yeah.
about how your wife is the best person
Right.
and like
Yeah.
this is a suck up. Like
It
you're
is, yeah.
trying to cover your fucking
You're
tracks.
trying to cover your
Kind
ass.
of controlling
you
that
don't-
narrative.
Yeah.
Totally, dude, yeah.
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 And look, man, and I'm going to stick to this one, but it's like, where did you come from?
Sure.
What did you grow up with?
Right.
And you may lose everything, but hopefully you actually go get some real help and talk to real people
Right.
and stop with your fucking bullshit and get some serious help. Because
Totally.
people that do all of this come from all of that.
Yeah.
They don't just all of a sudden turn into some manipulative narcissist asshole.
Right.
They were taught
Sure.
by whatever male role model or female, because
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, we can't say that. Their women are perfect. You know.
Yeah.
Here-
no faults.
yeah,
No
yeah,
faults ever,
there.
right?
No, Hashtag me too.
Yeah.
Hashtag me
We
too.
going there?
Yeah.
No, we're not. We don't have
I
to.
go there every chance I
He
get.
does all the
man.
time.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
We're all equally at fault at different
Right.
levels, no matter what gender you decide
We're
you
all
want to be.
capable of being a piece of shit.
Right.
Exactly.
100% of us.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fucking rough because you think taking the fact that I love the band out of it, I read that post and then I read it again and it
Yeah.
felt fucking wrong. To
Yeah,
me, right.
the second
And
time.
and then when you see
it was
all
wrong
these,
the first time.
it was
but
wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
you almost felt bad. It's like,
Well, it's so shocking, right? Yeah, it's so shocking the
Right.
first time, and then you take a second, and then you reread it, and you go, "This is a fucking wild move of like a legit like narcissist, dude."
right.
Bro, it's
like there's
so
no
funny.
excuse for the behavior.
No.
But also, you still want to have empathy. Like, if this is really
What it is,
a mental
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want this person to fucking get
Get help.
right.
You know.
right.
But when you're reading the text and reading the text,
Mm-hmm.
not but reading what was written down, I did the same thing. I read it when he sent it to me the first time. Then I read what the band wrote,
Right.
and then I went and had lunch earlier today. And while I was sitting there, I was going back through and reading stuff, prepping for today.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
Just trying to get it down, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, as I'm getting through towards the end, I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't an apology. This
Yeah,
is
there's no I'm sorry
This
at
is
all.
a hey.
Yeah.
I'd like to maybe try to keep
Yeah.
my wife, although I think she's probably not going to be okay with it. And
Yeah.
you're just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Because
It's
real
super
help
weird.
means, hey man, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to go do an intense therapy, and hopefully when I get done with it, my wife's still there.
Right. Because there's rumors. Have you ever heard the rumors of why Through Silver and Blood is called that?
I've heard some shit.
Have you?
I think I had this conversation with Mike Carter
Oh, did you?
about
Okay.
that.
Oh, okay.
Well, what are you gonna
So
say?
what I heard was that this dude is a dark fucking dude. He always has been, right? I heard there was a point at which he fucking disappeared, locked himself in some weird room, literally painted the walls silver, like as a back wall, and then cut himself and fucking bled all over him and shit. You know, like in one of his mental fucking breakdowns. I heard that's why it's called Through Silver and Blood. You know what I mean? But I don't know. You know, you never know. You know what these things are
getting
called.
in
See,
all
but
these rumors.
this is again where I go back to everybody posts all this stuff about men need to speak up, men need to do all this stuff, but we get so caught up that we can't speak up, we don't feel comfortable speaking up, And then you get in the situation and everybody just starts shitting on your chest. And then you're going to fucking tighten up even that much more.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy is obviously screaming for help. And if what you're saying is true, he's been screaming for help.
Oh, yeah. Well, and
you know what I
these
mean?
things have been going on for years.
So
you know
then
what I mean?
why all of a sudden is everybody going like, we can't believe this is going on?
Well, because the state, this kind of leads me to my statement from Neurosis, right? Because I'm wondering, like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know, because the post that you sent me from, what's his name?
Sanford Parker.
Sanford Parker was pretty damning in the fact that, and the same year, 2019, I got a fucking, you know, his post basically says something to the fact that
Email from his wife.
2019, I got an email from Scott's wife that fucking shocked me. So bad to the fact that I had to completely sever ties from him. And the reason it's coming out now is because his wife, whether it's through abuse or terror or whatever, didn't want the fucking heat, you know, for saying anything. So she told everyone, like, just fucking be quiet about it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go through the public display of fucking terror on top of what we're going through now. You know what I mean? Essentially. So, you know, this is a quick version of Neurosis' statement today. As a band, we parted ways with Scott Kelly in the end of 2019 after learning about severe acts of abuse he committed towards his family over the previous years. In the past, Scott had disclosed his marital difficulties and acts of verbal abuse as well as his intention to get help and change his behaviors. And the information we learned in 2019 made it very clear that Scott had crossed the line. There was no way to come back. We did not share this information out of the respect for his wife's direct request for privacy to honor the family's wish to not let their experience become gossip in a music magazine. With Scott's Facebook post and on August 27th, disclosing much of the information publicly, we can finally say what we believe needs to be said. For the last 20 years, we have lived far apart from one another, only saw Scott when we were meeting up to work on music or play shows. We had no idea that the reality was for his family when they were not around. By Scott's own admission, his abuse was intentional, targeted, and closely guarded secret, even from those to the closest to him. Right, so since 2019, we've made numerous attempts to contact Scott. We wanted to have an honest talk about the status of the band and find out how he and his family were doing, but he's refused to speak to us for the last 3 years, and also refused to take responsibility for his actions, having been through so much with someone for more than 35 years. One would expect some amount of closure, right? So it goes on to say some other stuff, but basically they say there's nothing brave about systematically abusing your child or wife. There's nothing brave about confessing wrongdoing than when you have not done any of the work to change your behavior. There's nothing brave about refusing to speak honestly or speak at all with one of your closest friends and bandmates who you have supported and stuck by you for most of your life. Basically goes on to say that this is a fucking megalomaniac way of trying to get ahead of it, to not look so bad.
Yeah.
And this is from his closest friends
Yeah.
in a band of 35 fucking years. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's heartbreaking, dude. It's just fucking weird. I mean, it's weird. You know, there's a lot of false cancellations in the world.
Yeah.
This is not one. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
it definitely doesn't
is my
sound like it.
favorite
And I
band.
feel awkward talking about this because I've been there.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
been canceled. dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's
So, I mean,
Yeah.
have you guys talked about this? Or
we did talk about it last
Okay,
time.
all
We'll
right,
talk about
all
it. I mean, we can brush on it. I don't think you want to spend a lot of time on
Yeah,
it.
we don't need to go down the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Yeah. Jasper. But it's fucking heartbreaking, dude. And I mean, and they said it perfectly. Like, you know, as much as it hurt the band, you know what I mean? As much as it hurt the fucking band, imagine what his wife and kids are going through, man. And I
That's
just
terrible.
feel so fucking bad. You know what I mean?
I hope they can heal from this, and I hope he can get some help, man, you know?
Yeah, I hope so too. It just hurts your soul, dude. But then it's like, I've seen a lot of people going like, "Well, fuck, I'm never gonna listen to Neurosis again." It's like, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it
You know,
devalue
it's
the
just-
music? How do you feel
No,
about
I don't
that?
think so,
You
but
know?
also it's just hard to believe a different lineup, you know?
right?
It's been
Would
solid
you
for
replace
so
so
long,
you
know?
get somebody else, you change the name.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, it's like
People have done
It's
it
like
forever.
Pink Floyd changing their name.
I mean, as a lyricist, just that
Yeah.
vocal style,
Yeah.
that guitar
Yeah.
playing, I mean, it's,
It's unfucking real. Dude.
oh.
Yeah, it's so weird.
rough.
I mean, how do you add any other, like, I just don't. I don't even know where. Like, and I know we talked earlier. It's like you didn't sleep well. I fucking thought about it all night long, all day today. I've been thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, I'm still trying to process it.
Right.
Like I said, it's not like I'm gonna go burn their records. I'll still listen to the records, but I feel like now when I hear it, all I'm gonna see is that, and all I'm
Right.
gonna think about is that.
I know.
And
Yeah.
that sucks.
I know. It totally
Yeah.
sucks. It
Yeah.
stains the whole fucking band. You know.
Yeah.
I feel
I
so
think
bad for
I
these
think
guys.
really we should talk about the elephant in the room, and I don't know if everybody knows about this.
What?
Well, Friday night we were all hanging out together at the bar, and we had a really good time. We were all drinking and partying and stuff. And on the way home, I guess Craig decided to get mouthy with Rosie, and she just kicked his ass and tossed him off in the bushes, man. I mean, we don't talk about that. All of a sudden, we don't talk about the abuse that goes on in the house that we're sitting at.
You're
But
such a piece of shit, dude.
Craig is on his way home from the bar. We've had a good time. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, Rosie just is like, "What'd you say?" And then just throws him in the bush.
Yeah, dude.
And
Literally,
he's just
my wife
face in the
fucking-
bush, ass up in
wasn't
the
an
air.
argument.
Yeah. Dude's driving by, whistling his butt up in the air, man. It is just, nobody talks about this, though. You know what I mean? Maybe we need to discuss this.
Yeah, cancel Craig.
This is
yeah.
the
Actually,
cancel
my
Craig.
fucking wife. Yeah.
Jesus.
Cancel
You know,
my wife,
that
dude.
woman just beat
She's
your
abusing
ass.
me, yeah.
It's rough, dude.
Dude, no, literally, I got fucking hammered at the bar on Friday. We were walking home. He owns the garage, right?
Yeah.
So we're walking home, dude, and me and Rosie are giggling. We're laughing. And I don't know what fucking happened, but I think I took about 5 shots of tequila in 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
Right? I'm
we-
fucking pretty
yeah.
lit, dude.
Tequila will do that.
We were
And she
fucked
fucking,
up.
I don't know what happened, but she like pushed me, and I fucking flew like head first into these hedges. Dude, I'm just laying there. I couldn't get up at all, dude. Like I was fucking like, well, this is where I live now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so she was laughing hysterically, but right as she did it, I guess some people in a car were driving by and saw the whole fucking thing, and so I heard other people laughing. I didn't know who they were or where they were, but you could hear them laughing the whole way up the fucking road, dude. Like we were just fucking around, you know, like we weren't in a fight at all. We were cracking up, but motherfucker, dude.
There'd be no laughing if the other way around.
Yeah, well, of course, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very true.
She fucking chucked me, dude. Like she's like, I didn't think I pushed you that hard. He's like, you might not have, dude.
Yeah.
But I went fucking just like immediately into the hedges,
Yeah.
dude.
And then he sent me a picture of
Yeah.
the hedges that he went into.
Then I took a picture
and
of the
it's
hedges.
just the hedge with a giant round spot in it.
Let me see if I
It's
can
so
find
fucking funny, man.
I was
He'll
dying,
post
dude.
that. He'll post
Yeah,
that.
I'll post it.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I've been waiting
I was
all
cracking
day to
up,
talk
man.
about this, especially since we're talking about what the abuse is and all
Yeah,
this
there you
stuff.
go.
And
It looks like
you know.
looks like a bear laid in the fucking in the middle.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I did.
You did
I
that?
did it. Yeah,
That's what I.
yeah.
That's where I landed, dude.
Oh, I laughed. I must have laughed, just guttural,
Oh, my God.
teared laughed for about a half hour.
dude.
Just, oh my God, that's the best. Man.
Oh god. Yeah, it was.
It was
rough.
having a good time though.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
No arguments, no fights. She just fucking. I was
Yeah.
a little off kilter apparently. She fucking
Put
took
you in your
advantage.
place.
Yeah.
Hey, you
Sent
know,
you into the
sometimes-
bush.
Yeah.
Sent me right in the
Yeah.
bushes, dude.
Got home, probably sent you back in the bush again.
So what's the plan for the future? You got more music you're working on. What's out now? Like, give us. It's so extensive.
Okay,
you
so-
sent me such a massive list of shit. I was like,
I
fuck,
know,
fuck,
I know.
fuck.
It's weird. I
So
mean,
what do you got out now?
let-
What's
let-
coming
let-
out?
Let's back up
Let's
to
back up.
I don't know, 2019.
Okay.
You know, because 2018 would have been departure with Intronaut, and the first band I started playing with was Ozorn.
Right.
It was just kind of perfect timing. They were having troubles with their current drummer, and we were working on Your Killer.
Right.
We tracked that at Dave Grohl's studio in the Valley.
Oh, cool.
Studio 606.
Did he ever show
Yeah.
up?
What's,
Dave? Did Dave Grohl
he
ever
did.
show
I
up?
didn't see him, but
You didn't see him?
you know who I did meet was Pat Smear, and I was nerding out because of the
Ooh,
germs.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
He was
That's
super
awesome.
cool. He'd every now and then he'd pop into the console room and like listen to some of the mixes. I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah. He was a total sweetheart.
Fuck yeah.
In fact, he let Billy and Bill, or he offered to lend some baritone guitars to them because that's what they play.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it was like some rare
Some
baritone
rare-ass
guitar,
fucking
and
Fender or
Billy
something.
used one, which was awesome. Those guys were like super sweet.
I bet.
But anyways, yeah, I played with those guys. I played with those guys for a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Pandemic happened.
Right.
Billy ended up moving to Jacksonville, Florida, to be closer to his family. He's got his kids and his grandson out there. I was having problems with transportation at the time. Also, I was still, leading up to the pandemic, I was in such a heavy depression.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I was binge drinking. It was just bad timing. So Ozorn kind of went on hiatus for a little while until Bill recently pieced together a new lineup.
Right.
Yeah. And then, the Avitus stuff. 2 EPs are out on Bandcamp. I mean, you can find that on Apple Music, Spotify.
All the
we're
things.
still an unsigned project.
Right. Oh, really?
But
Okay,
but if you dig super dark progressive metal, check it out.
Right. Yeah.
Also around that time, I started trading files with a guy named Mike Darren, who's a guitar player. He plays in a death metal band from New York called Circuit of Suns.
Oh yeah.
They're insane.
Circuit of Suns is nuts.
It's like
Yeah.
if Dillinger Escape Plan was a death metal band. It's gnarly. So he had all excessive material that didn't necessarily fit Circuit of Suns. It was a little more proggy, a little more light, a lot of clean stuff. And so he and I started writing music together over the internet, same shit.
Yeah.
We had never played together in
So
a
weird,
room.
man. Yeah.
And started a band called Avitus. And I recorded my drum tracks for this EP literally well over a year now, and it's still in the process of
Still
being done.
going, huh?
We went through some lineup changes, but early next month we're gonna have a single available.
Okay.
So you can actually hear what it sounds like.
So what's that project called?
It's called Avitus.
Avitus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Avitus.
So just more kind of progressive metal, post-metal kind
Right.
of stuff. Really pretty, dark. I can't wait for you to hear it.
Right.
I feel like I'm talking about all this stuff
I
that's
know,
going to
yeah,
come
yeah,
out, but,
yeah.
So next month we'll have a single, and we're going to finish up that EP, and, hopefully that will be out, shortly thereafter. Let's see here. Oh, and then I ended up playing drums on the most current Circuit of Suns record,
Oh, you did. Okay.
which is still in the process.
Right.
And we're going to be doing the singles thing as well. I don't know what it is, but I think EPs are coming back and singles.
Yeah.
People have such a short attention
Oh, dude,
span.
yeah.
It's kind of good to spread music out rather than just boom, LP, sit on
Right.
it. Year goes by, touring, whatever.
I've been
It's kinda-
saying it for years. I have no interest in releasing a record ever again.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
I'm
it's nice,
backing
dude.
it.
We got 6, 8 new songs, and we're gonna record them all, and we're gonna either release them in 2 EPs or we're gonna release a song every couple months for the next fucking year.
Yeah.
Why? What's the fucking point? You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
not on a record label. We're not fucking touring.
Right.
We're not. Why? Why fucking release a whole record?
And
dude?
then especially, during the pandemic,
Yeah.
there was really no rush.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that saying how things are starting to come out
Yeah.
is you just see all these people that have sat on stuff throughout the pandemic.
Right.
And now there's been 5 insane comedy specials that have come out
Right.
in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And all these people are just okay, we've been doing this. Now it's time.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
you guys just leave us alone now. Yeah. We're gonna start putting this stuff out there, and I think personally that giving somebody a little treat leads to the whole plate. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
You start
there's
off with the
nothing-
appetizer.
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that. Dude.
yeah.
And I wanted to mention this Avitus release we recorded with Kevin, the guitar player at Dillinger Escape Plan at Backroom Studios in New Jersey. So I flew out there during
Did
the
you?
pandemic
Okay,
and tracked
that's
drums
cool.
for that.
That's awesome.
And so it's legit. It sounds
I bet.
amazing. It's just taking some time, and that's the problem. When you don't have a record label, you don't have the fire under your ass.
Right.
You have
Yeah.
no deadline, and when
Yeah.
it's in your own hands, you can kind of take your time with it. And
But don't you think that could create a better product? I guess your shit's
Yeah.
done though. You're done, right?
Right.
So you've
No.
done your part.
No, you're absolutely right.
that's
I
true,
mean,
yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
you can over obsess over it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
no, wait, I could do better. Or I don't like that.
Yeah.
No, just
Just
get
let
it done.
go.
Yeah, I mean,
There is a point.
they were just talking about. I don't know if it was Abbey Road or Let It Be, but they were just talking about the Beatles. I was just listening to somebody talking about that. They did all these albums, but this one album, and it was when Yoko was around. All that it was we have to get this done.
Oh yeah, it was
in
the-
this
the
amount of
new
time.
last special,
So
right?
then you're
Was it
like,
Let It Be?
Yeah, I
Was
think
it
it was Let It Be, and they're
Right.
like, okay, so you have this amount of time. And so all these all-star are like, well, we just have to work on it every single
fucking
day.
day, yeah.
And every day you have to go in, you have to put in the work, and then you, at the end of the day, you're done. But at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Right,
you're back
here.
at it.
That's
And they
a
talk about
full-time
that's
fucking
what
job.
they did to get that album
For
out
sure,
there,
yeah.
you know? And so
Yeah.
I think, there is the beauty of the freedom of just going like, hey, man, let's do that. But when you got a bunch of high-level rock stars, you need that person that goes, hey, guys, let's reel this in.
We got a
and
deadline
let's get it
here.
out there.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
then you end up with something where you're like, well, I laid the tracks out 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Yeah, literally,
You know?
Avitus and Circuit of Suns. Both my drum tracks for those records are over a year.
Over a year
old.
old.
Yeah.
Sitting.
Yeah.
But it's in the process, and I assure
Yeah.
you, in the next couple of months,
It
you're going to
will
hear
start,
some
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And yeah,
Awesome.
not to dwell on everything. And then there's another project called Vimana, which is ex and current members of Cephalic Carnage,
Oh,
Job for a
Jesus.
Cowboy.
Okay. I get into
And
heavy
this stuff,
hitters
I don't know.
now, dude.
I made a post a while back talking about a band, and I coined the term relapse records era
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, because it's
So if you
coming
can
back,
imagine
dude.
what
It's
Yeah.
coming
that
back,
sounds
yeah.
like, it's just
Yeah, relapse
it's
record shit
techie,
is
it's
coming
death metal,
back.
it's hardcore, it's got all those elements of all those bands you like, and
Right.
the people involved in this band all played in bands on Relapse Records, all
Right.
of us, So that I'm super excited about.
That's
That was the
cool.
last thing I tracked. I did my drums with Armand
Oh, okay.
here at
Yeah.
Captain's Quarters in
love that
Ventura,
band to death.
and he's my go-to guy. Like
Yeah.
honestly, working with all these guys in other cities and states, I just track my drums with Armand, send the files, and then they do their stuff at
Yeah.
their studios. And
Yeah. Armand makes things so easy, dude.
and he has the best drum room
He
ever,
really does,
with
yeah,
high ceilings
I know,
and
it's amazing.
great acoustics.
Yeah, and he's so fucking good at what he does. You know what I mean? And you're just like, you get in there and you're like, no fucking issues, no problems. Get in, get it done. Sounds fucking good every time. I mean, my band's been recording them forever. You know what I mean? Almost every record we've ever done has been with Armand.
Yeah, it's just so
Such a good
comfortable,
guy.
Yeah, it is.
That studio is really comfortable, and working with him is great.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and speaking of the cephalic stuff, I've helped them out quite a bit. Again, I've been doing session work for those guys on and
okay.
off.
Yeah.
So I've known those guys for almost 20 years. Like the first time I toured with them, up at Battle was still
Yeah,
a
yeah,
band.
for sure.
We did Contamination and started doing session work as far back as 2014. Mm-hmm. Anyways, first show back since the pandemic was Psycho Las Vegas 2021.
Oh, you just went to? Did you play? You
Not
played?
this year,
Not
last
year. Okay.
Last
right,
year.
right,
So
yeah.
that was literally my first
show.
real
yeah.
show that big
Yeah.
since the pandemic,
Yeah.
which was just a trip, playing with, Mastodon and Mutoid Man and Obituary
Everybody,
and
yeah.
Goat Whore, all these
How is
bands.
that festival? I want to go every year and I never go.
So amazing.
Is it awesome? I'm going this next
Like
year. Dude.
super wild.
I fucking want to go.
They have like 4 different stages and everything is staggered, and
Yeah.
you pull out a little map like you're at Disneyland
Yeah.
or something. I'm like, okay, this band ends at this time,
like
and
a
we gotta
heavy metal
run
amusement
over to
park.
this stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was amazing, especially catching up with everyone. Yeah, High on Fire, all these dudes, all these old friends.
Yeah.
And then this year we did Maryland Death Fest, which was a lot of fun. And then we were direct support basically for Sepultura.
Okay.
Under the name Cavalera,
Which is
the
awesome.
brothers. Yeah. So Igor
Which
and
is
Max
fucking
Cavalera,
awesome.
who are Sepultura, I guess back in '96 the band parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know the details about that, but
Yeah.
Cavalera Conspiracy has been doing their own thing,
Right.
and they've been doing a series of tours doing certain records in their
Right.
entirety. So this time around was Beneath the Remains and Arise,
Oh,
their
so
classic
good. Yeah, the two
thrash
classics.
albums
Yeah.
with a couple hired guns. They had the bass player of Soulfly playing
Mm-hmm.
bass, and the guitar player of Possessed and a newer band called Gruesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first tour since 2018.
Right,
And it was
right.
super surreal. I was super nervous.
Yeah, because it's got it like, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it has to feel good with what you went through, with all the shit you went through, get the accusations, the fucking
Yeah.
chaos, losing all your sponsors, losing every band you've done. You're back. And this
Well, the
is what-
sponsors never went anywhere.
Oh, the
I
sponsors
said,
never went anywhere?
uh-huh,
Okay, that's
yeah.
good. But, you're talking about years of building back. at this
Right.
point, right? How many years are you built? Are you?
Yeah,
like,
we're coming up on 4 years.
4
A little over
years,
4
and now
years
you're
now.
you're like, and then I know that some publications have retracted some
Articles, yeah.
which never is going to fucking vindicate
No.
any, or you
No.
know what I mean. But it is nice, right?
But
It's gotta feel
they-
super nice, yeah.
Instead of retract, how about they just put a big article out that says, "Hey, look, man, this is what he's working on now. We screwed up.
Yeah,
Check
Well,
it
that's
out."
very
That's the
risky too.
yeah.
You know?
It's risky, but they don't have a problem chopping your head off.
Right.
Well,
They
it's
could be-
sensationalism, and it's a
Yeah.
good article, and
So, but you can still come back and make, you can still come back and go, "Hey, look, this is what he's doing now.
Yeah.
This is what happened."
Yeah,
and
but
it
if-
obviously didn't go nowhere.
But if you
so-
have no true way,
There's not,
you don't have a way to
prove-
truly
Yeah.
clear your name, then it's still a little, I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
It's rough, dude.
Yeah.
But it has to feel good.
But
to
I,
be like,
I've known the Cephalic Boys forever,
Right.
and I'm in no way in their band. They, so John Merriman, who's been their drummer for ages, on all their albums, quit recently. There's Patrice Hamlin, who was the fill-in. I was the fill-in for the fill-in. Now I'm just the fill-in. Patrice is their main drummer. And when Patrice can't do something, that's when I step in.
you're on the fucking A-list now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which,
That's awesome, man.
more often than not, they've needed help, and they're bros, and they know the deal. They're
Yeah.
not worried about.
But it does have to.
Yeah.
It does got to feel good for you. I mean, just
So
to be
good.
back and moving and doing the thing, man. I'm stoked for you.
And just
Yeah.
associate with everyone, run into
Yeah.
friends, bands that I've toured with, people in different cities and states. They're like,
Right.
and like you're saying, they're saying the same thing. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Yeah, I
on the
know,
road
man.
again.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome, dude.
So yeah,
Well, fuck yeah, man. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on the pod, dude.
absolutely.
It was
Yeah,
awesome
this
to
is
have
great,
you,
man.
have
Thanks for
you
having me
actually in the
again.
studio. Welcome back anytime, especially
Yeah.
when all the other records, the 1,000 records you're working on, come out.
Yeah,
If they ever, maybe they'll come out 10 years from now. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah, and for everybody that's lost on all the different bands that Dan and Craig have sat here and talked about, Craig's gonna put them in the.
I will
in
list
the-
a bunch of bands.
yeah,
in the
so
comments,
because
yeah.
I am so
Yeah.
like, man, I got a lot of listening to
There's
do,
a
man.
there's a lot of
it's
deep
so-
cuts
yeah,
talked about on this podcast.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, man, it was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun, man. I appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, let's get
Awesome.
the fuck out of here, huh?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Push
Bye.
me in a bush.
There you go.